after you get out of here, he needs it sent to him.
Okay, and I'm gonna make it quick. So again, in reading, like I said, our kids are in the second to third grade level of reading, which is why we have some of the most scores. And in 504, their average was 175 for the BOY. And I think for MOI, you're what, a 209? I think that's where we have to be for reading, is it 209? Do you remember this? Remember this?
Yeah.
Is it 209? Our average is about 180. And so they need to be at least a 209 per person.
So if we get to that 600 lexile for reading, would that be enough games? Because we're supposed to be at 800 plus, and the 800 is 4.5. Fourth grade,
800
fifth
is
grade.
4.5. You're right.
Fourth grade, fifth grade.
Okay.
It's something we have to talk about as a reading group. The areas of improvement, so despite the strengths, 71% of our students struggle with multiple genres, indicating a need for targeted instruction. And you're like, well, again, and yes, how do I target those instructions? You're going to have to embed or somehow scaffold that information in, especially during an LMSS, A-time, and extended Fridays. Especially with the way the slide decks work, it comes over and it goes over and it goes over again. So you see something I taught today, I will see it again in 2 weeks. So again, it's just scaffolding that information. You're not teaching the same thing you taught today. When you get it again next week, give it a different level. Give it another story, something else that can challenge them, that you can, again, scaffold that information. And also 70% of our students show lower than average performance in making inferences from text, which is a critical skill for reading. I think that's just nationwide. So recommendations for reading. For us, when we're scaffolding familiar text, implement the question or techniques, the questioning on, focusing on why. This is for inferencing. Why and how questions about the text. And then, discuss or have some discussion with your class and reflections. Additionally, introducing peer reading. We do that because they sit next to each other. I know in my class we do A and B reading. A reads first, B listens, and vice versa. Enhancing their fluency and peer engagement, and this can help them improve their overall reading.
I have a question too, my
Yes.
as far as reading. What defined strategies, like what is the fifth grade way for strategies when it comes to reading? To make sure students are paying attention to what the question is asking, not choosing answers just because they saw the answer in the story, targeting the question to make sure they're understanding what the question is asking. What defined strategies are we using for reading?
Do y'all have one that we can use?
Oh.
Because if we use it in here, we should use it in all the classes so the kids can be consistent.
Are you referring to like in fifth
For
grade?
reading,
It's
for
like,
fifth grade.
for fifth grade, I know for math, they always want us to ask, what is the story about?
Uh-huh.
Are you talking about that type of strategy? Like, what is the story about? What is it asking? What's the given information? And then I'll say, how many times do you read a
That's
question?
what I'm talking
Is
about.
that what you're talking
Like,
about? Which
when,
one?
as soon as a student, cause like when I taught fifth grade, we called it attack the passage, but I'm old, so we weren't taking it online yet, we were taking it on paper. They
Okay.
knew to circle the title,
Yeah.
circle the title,
Mhm.
to box, to do the who, what, when, where, why, but
Whatever
they
this
did,
is,
they did
whatever
their
this
template,
is.
but whatever it is, but
This
then
is
what
whatever.
are we teaching the students to do
The 5 Ws.
with this?
What we're,
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
what
why-
are we doing with this? What are their steps? So when I sit down in front of the
Gotcha.
passage, what do I do?
So, like, what I tried to do, which you don't have a lot of time, it's called unwrap. Is what I see.
Okay,
Then you underline the title so you
There
can
you
get, you underline the title
right away.
to get a sense of the main idea.
Mhm.
You number your paragraphs so you can get your idea how long it's gonna take you to read it. You walk through the questions so you know why you
Looking at the
read
questions
what
first,
you read.
setting the purpose for reading.
Was it unwrap?
Or-
Read R is to read the passage twice if you can.
Mhm.
It's R2. Yeah.
Mhm.
A is answer the question. P is prove your answer. Yeah, that's it.
That's what I'm looking at.
And that's what we
So,
gonna use it
so,
for?
yeah, so when the
That's it.
students sit down there, when they get a reading passage in front of even though on the computer, they're gonna know to pay attention, to underline it, which they can use little pens or whatever.
Mhm.
Underline the title and then to know what to do to attack that passage.
Because
That's the
they
fifth
can
grade
go-
way.
Even if you hit next to go to the next answer, next question, you can always hit previous to come on back
And you're gonna have to remind them to look, because they wanna go right away and read the passage. We're not doing that, we're gonna look at the questions first. We wanna look at the questions so we can understand why we're reading it,
So they, while they reading, they can annotate, cause that's
like a
information.
step-by-step process.
So can we get these
I
made
like
and
that.
then put them on our desks?
Oh, wow.
Well, we already have this.
Cause if we're gonna use Unwrap, then we're gonna use it in all the classes.
So, and.
Cause his race is a NES
Race
thing,
for-
that's,
It's for,
That's for writing.
yeah,
Put
for
it
writing.
in here, maybe in here. Maybe we can put it in our caddies.
Okay.
And
Yes,
not here, because
have it
I
in
don't
a
know if they
caddy.
want that.
yeah, if nothing else on
That
top of
way
it.
you could just put it up.
Yeah.
We can make it as opposed to, so you can
Yeah,
make
if
four
you're using
students.
extra that is not from the NES.
Yeah, they're gonna put it in their caddy.
Okay,
That's a
so
great
you
idea.
guys- Okay.
Alright,
So to know, because as a fifth grade student, I need to know what to do when I sit down, because they need to be able, because that's how we're going to increase this inferencing.
Yes.
They need to know to pay attention to what the question is asking, and then go find the text evidence.
We can do that for extended, right? For extended, we can focus on that?
Yeah,
Okay.
because they gotta have the fifth grade way. I remember in the classroom, I called it attack the passage, and I had a big poster in my room, what they're supposed to do, step 1, step 2, all the way down to that passage.
And that applies for all subjects, because
Yes.
math, they have to read, science.
Yeah. So we're gonna come up with our fifth grade way, so y'all create them. And every day we have to remind them to do it. Every day you have to do it.
Unwrap,
Yeah.
unwrap. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. So for science,
That's an excellent strategy. Good.
when I looked at science, it shows that their current strengths were that they demonstrated a strong grasp of basic scientific concepts, particularly in organisms and environments. Improvements, it shows that they struggle with matter, force, motion, and energy in earth and space. So just some recommendations for science. I'm not a science person. I'm sure you all can come up with some better recommendations that I did. I said, incorporating hands-on experiments. I know that's what you're doing now because I can hear you doing that. Focusing on real-life applications of scientific concepts and foster critical thinking through problem-solving activities. That's a good way to use Unwrap as well. And just project to strength and understanding. So now it says, how can we meet our MOY target? Let's collaborate and come up with a plan. I thought about including incentives and goal achievement rewards, just keeping our kids motivated. I know today they came back, they were on 100. I don't know about y'all kids, but today they were on 100. So I'm consistently saying, be quiet, sit down, stop talking. It was just on a different level today. So how can we get our kids motivated for them to reach that goal that we're gonna set?
Are y'all meeting with the kids at threshold? Where you meet them out here and you're coming out here and setting your expectations before they come in the room? I know Mr. Jackson does that, but does everybody else do that?
Yes, when I'm out there greeting them at the door. Yes.
And they coming in with a fifth bump,
Yep.
setting expect, come in and have a seat, guys, great to see you, you know, let's have a seat,
I don't do the
great
fist
day
bump, but I
learning.
can start. I don't do the fist bump out there, but I
Okay.
can start.
Well, I know some people don't like to touch kids, but you know.
That's why I do this one.
Yeah,
Or you can do a little elbow.
I used to do elbows, yeah. Yeah.
Alright, so I just want to do the 4 ways.
Okay.
Oh, you have something you wanna pull this up?
Oh, no, I think we're addressing everything, we just gotta get the kids tight.
So I actually bring your computers, especially 4-way teachers, so I can show you how to get into your reports.
Oh, it's working.
Those reports that are important for us to look at. So if you want to, go ahead and get into NWA or MAP. Because
And I'm glad you're doing this, cause I'm showing you what APV and I use to determine what teachers are, the percentage of teachers that are complete with NWEA. So we
Okay.
wanna be much better at this when it comes to MOY, so I'm glad you guys are looking at what we looking at.
Oh, I have it right here in front of me. So I'm gonna show you how to pull up this part of your report, because this is important for you to know. It shows your students who high achievement, low growth. That means that there are high kids, but they didn't show any growth for BOY. Then you have your low achievement, low growth. These are kids who are low kids and they didn't even grow. And then you have your low achievement, high growth. You have our kids who are low achievement, but they did grow somehow in BOY. That means they've taken taken MAP last year, And then you have your high achieving students, and they show some high growth. So I'll show you what that looks like with your group. So go here. You want to go to math growth. You want to click on. Let's go to growth reports. And so you should have a screen that comes up here. And so for open house, we're gonna give each parent a copy of their child's profile. It's gonna show Lexile information, all the scores that they've had for the DOI. So you will go here for student profile, but you're not gonna go there right now. So to get what I just showed you, you wanna go to class profile. Am I going too fast or y'all okay?
Going too fast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Takes a moment.
Okay, and then for your subject, just go to your subject, whatever subject you are. So I'm gonna go to language arts. And I'm just gonna click on my first class.
Oh. That's your first class.
And then you wanna hit update.
Yeah. That means 3 out of 4 of this class.
Okay, so
75%.
according to 501, this is what their, the students in this class, this is how they score. So 21% of the students, which were 10 of them, fell below or did not come close to reaching our goal for BOI. Everything in orange, yellow, green, and blue is good. Orange means those are probably our tier 2 kids. We can get them probably up to our yellows, and yellows to our greens, and greens to our blue. Our reds, we're gonna have to give them a little bit more information on that. Help them out a little bit more. So, you're gonna scroll all the way down, and it'll give you the kids' names who fell up under those particular numbers.
Right. So here's the kids that fell under.
And so what I do is I'll hit grid scores, so I can start with my top all the way to my lowest.
Which report was this again?
So it was a class profile.
Here it is. Yeah. So you can click on that
Quick
map
question.
and see.
The one
That's
that
the
you
name
have
that
that
they
has
took it.
blue, can you see
Here's
the
science.
Then during your LSAE, is it the same person that always goes to
That's a
Team
good
Center?
question.
Right.
Let's see.
That will validate if they're really an authentic learning happening.
So it's one student, so let's see who that is. It's probably Mia.
Yeah, it is.
Like these
So
are
if
students
that's
that's going to the
Yeah.
team center.
That's a good point.
is right there.
Because
And
there's
there's
a
twins.
There's twins,
indicator
yeah.
for the student for you to keep them.
Okay.
DOL doesn't mean they're really learning. Some of them, when I'm observing you guys, they're copying.
Yeah.
They're looking at their classmate,
doubt.
they're looking
Yeah.
at their graphic organizer, so that's not authentic learning. The result is not really valid. You
So
need to keep the kid.
So sometimes in math, I see the work, I insist on the work by the student before I give a check mark. That's how we can,
And as much as
Assess.
possible, when you're
Yeah.
checking it,
yeah.
upside down, because they look at your,
The neighbor.
yeah, and then, oh, I know the answer now.
That's why
I'll
I circle
circle
it
it,
and say show
because they
your
wanna
work.
go downstairs.
You have 2 that's above.
all right, so to go to the one that I show you, you want to scroll all the way, go back to map growth,
Okay.
map growth reports.
No, no.
Scroll all the way down till you get to achievement status growth.
Okay, you went back to
Now,
map
where you
growth
at?
reports.
Oh, let me go back. I'm sorry. So I just went to the top where they have
Oh,
these
okay.
3 lines and just go to map growth.
Map growth. She's back.
And so you want to go all the way down till you get to this rainbow of colors, the achievement status growth, and click on that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And so from here, you want to select your class.
You said the quadrant, one with the 4 quadrants.
Yes.
With the blue green.
Yes. The achievement status quadrant chart. Click this your class,
Class
create report.
Create.
And so what I do is I like to put on here show student name. And you can click all 3 reports for math, language arts, and science.
Yeah, you can just unclick those.
Is your
just
team
click
runs to the
science.
fall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you just wanna look at science, you would
Yeah,
click
you
on
can
language
unclick
arts
all
and
of
math.
this.
So the way they did set it up on here, I am five.
So the quadrants one more time at the bottom right.
Okay.
The quadrant.
And so here,
There we go.
this is the one I like
There's
best.
the low achievement, low growth.
Yeah, so you have your
So you
achievements,
got high achievement, high
your
growth.
conditional achievements for each, and so if you go
Even though
here,
they're low, they're still showing
you
growth.
see Miss Mondra, it shows you here fall 23 versus fall 24. That's how you know the students were here last year.
Gotcha, thank you.
So what I like to do is, again, I like to start with my high.
What did you click to get there?
Oh,
No,
there's
just
a
scroll
lot
down.
of them that wasn't here
Oh,
last
scroll
year.
I scroll up,
Oh, there you go. That makes it, okay.
and
Do you
then,
see who's green, who's yellow, who's?
and so as you can see, I like to hit the risk score range to start with my lowest or my highest and work my way down.
Oh, yeah.
But like this person was.
Math the first one. Yeah, there's a lot of
That's
that
their
on
risk
mine
score
that
in
wasn't
fall
here last
23.
year.
This is their risk score in
It was a lot.
fall 24.
You got it?
Yeah, but you said low achievement, low growth, and high achievement.
Yeah, so
Just keep
Oh,
pushing them.
yeah.
That's why it's so reflective to look at this data, guys. Look here all the time because
No, I'm trying to move it.
it lets you know where direction you need to go with that instruction.
So, with that being said, I know I asked my teachers to print this up. My printer at home was tripping last night, so I'm gonna try again tonight to print up, Mr. Jackson and Ms. Saint, your BOY data. I don't know if you all put yours, Mr. Hernandez and Ms. Santos, if you have it on your wall. But it's important for us, especially
Yes.
when people come in and see it,
Right.
they do wanna see
Right.
that.
Yes, they do wanna see that, but the kids will start to reflect on that to see, okay,
Yeah.
my red is going down, now I'm up in the orange and blue and
Just
green.
make sure there's
That's
no
what
name
you
of
want.
student.
Of course.
Yeah, we won't do
That's
that.
for
So,
But have your data wall up in your room.
They keep done.
Oh, and that ends my, any questions for me?
yes, you
Yes.
were saying, this was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
This was very good.
Thank you.
To make this presentation.
Thank you.
Super duper awesome.
Uh-huh.
But you were saying that each kid needs a file, a folder.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask Ms. Meeks if we can get folders.
Student program.
Folders or file.
Do you have a template for that? A data template for the students to
I can
use?
get one, the one we used last year.
Okay, cause I was gonna have one, but you.
Oh, if you have one, then,
You can use yours.
okay. If Ms. Meeks can give us folders for fifth grade, they all look the same,
Yeah.
and they stay in our classroom.
Yeah.
And that way the kids can have their goals and what they make, and not just for math, but for those assessments we're taking, in OrangeRack, keeping a track of that as well. I'm gonna go over that one, but reading has not taken their assessment yet, that's why they didn't plug it into this, presentation today.
Because the kids are like filling up a bar graph. Does yours look like that, where they fill in a bar graph to compare like NWEA to DOL,
Yes.
DOL, whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and they can see if their own
Bar
growth,
graph is moving,
Mhm.
yes.
their own improvement, so. That's
Any
good.
questions for me?
Well,
Well, that ends my part of the presentation. If y'all need any other help, just let me know.
Thank you. Awesome.
All right, guys, and on a more serious note, please go send, Principal Prados those statements, he needs them.
What if I wasn't,
Not long there.
Not long, just the factual information.
That I was
That what
outside,
you,
I went in.
Oh, we started saying that.
yes,
And if you weren't
A
there, we don't
statement.
say anything, right?
well, if you weren't there, you didn't see it, then you can give us the.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure.
Are they looking at the video?
I don't know what they're looking at, he just sent me a phone call and said he needs statements from the fifth grade teachers about that incident, cause they're on him. But he said, let them know I have their back, I'm taking the heat, but I need statements from all of them who witnessed that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I have
Thank
something
you,
for
good
you.
job,
Oh,
Miss Winters.
thank you, thank
Thank you
you.
for the
thank
candy.
you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your hospitality.
So you may wanna, consider the groups because.
And these are the ones that are always in my opinion. There's a misconception.
Here's your birthday gift, happy birthday, hope you enjoy it. And also, I did say, I was gonna give you a folder that has, I guess we need to.
Oh, for the email that I sent?
Yes,
Okay,
for my practice.
okay. You just videoed yourself,
Thank you.
you just videoed yourself, right?
So, yes, so,
So this is I'm gonna have to fill out this, or you? Well, it says post evaluation.
we'll go over
It's
it. I
a
got
pre
it.
and post, so we'll
Yes.
have
Yeah, so
You'll
you
look
can
at
give me
some-
time that you're,
Okay.
even if it's after school, I know.
No, it'll probably be during your plan time, I
Okay,
can understand.
Just let me know, when we can get together and
Okay.
start this over.
Okay, sure, well, we need to get together soon, because don't you have deadlines to meet?
First
So I'll put, do they need this by Saturday?
So, some of that
Cause
thing
if so,
too,
you need to, I'm gonna be taking up your planning tomorrow.
okay, then I'll have more information ready for you.
Okay.
Better answers.
I have a question.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I send something home with the student? So the student
So,
that came, Roella,
Oh, yes.
she wants me to read to her, cause she doesn't, nobody else, she says she understands. I was trying to find a little snippet for her to do it here, but I couldn't find one, but there's a free online app that's called freereadingprogram.com. And I don't know if I can send it home with her, just to give it to her so she gives it to her mom.
You wanna print it up and give me a copy of it too.
Okay, and it goes from K through 6.
Cause she can't,